Well, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening or morning, depending where you're joining us from. You are watching our live Starbase cam, thanks to our friends at S Padre, and we are waiting the lift of the 9th section of the orbital launch tower. We all believed there was 8, but nope, surprise, there's a 9th. And it is being attached to the crane as we speak and as we watch this live view of Starbase. And we are waiting for it to be lifted here tonight. We are expecting for that lift to occur today, as they do have a number of hours of sunlight left. So we're going to be hanging out here, as always, keeping an eye on Starbase and answering your questions as you have any. So if you have a question, you can drop that in the chat. Tag us at the Launchpad or use hashtag AskTLP, and that'll make sure that we are able to answer those questions live. We also are going to have a big news flash updates coming tomorrow with some big news out of Starbase, some big news from Blue Origin, and we are working on confirming some of the information before we release that to you all, but some big statements coming from there that will be interesting to see how the future progresses. But we are waiting for the lift of the 9th section. Hey, Brandon, good to see you. I know we also saw, I believe it was Orange Guy in here at the beginning as well, and a few others, so thank you guys for hanging out. It's dinner time, so I can't hang, but good to see you on. I'll get back to you. Sounds good, Brandon. No risk, no rush there. Just got home and was just in time, so hopefully see this, but enjoy your dinner. Thanks for jumping on, though. But yeah, if anyone has questions, as always, let us know in the chat. We'll be answering those live. If you haven't yet, make sure to check out all of our social media links in the description. Join the Discord. It's free to do so, as well as get connected on Twitter, Facebook, and check out the Launchpad shop. There's a lot of awesome gear there, and it's a great way for you to get something and support the channel as well. So take a moment. I'll be monitoring here, but you're watching our live Starship cam as we await the lift of the 9th section of the orbital launch tower. Well, again, good afternoon. If you're just joining us, welcome back here to the launch pad. Here at the pad, we cover everything space, and you're watching our live coverage of the lift of the 9th section of the first ever SpaceX Starship Orbital launch tower. You can see that tower reaching into the sky on the left side of your screen, and the Franken crane right next to it. And then on the far right, just above the live icon, that is Booster 3, which we saw have a successful static fire last week. It's a very historic one, and we're waiting to see what will happen. We know Elon is on site overseeing the lift of this section, which I think can very much say that they are symbolizing this as maybe their top-off point for this tower. I know if I was Elon, I would definitely be there for that last section being lifted. Also, this section is kind of the height of that missing piece. The 8th section we saw lifted was only about 2/3 the height of all the previous ones. So this piece will finish that up. And then we'll just have to wait and see the remaining of the lightning rod and some other stuff for the crane, but the main structure most likely will be complete at this point now that we have seen Elon on location throughout today. We're waiting to see the lift happen. We do know Section 9 is fully hooked up to the Franken crane with the load separator, and we have seen it be separated from its kind of base structure that it's moved over on, kind of the rusty section we've seen photos in. If you look really closely at the camera here, the section that we are looking at is at the very base of the crane. And I'm going to see, we might actually be able to punch in on this. We're going to give this a try and see what happens if it's possible. So bear with me just a moment. So we're going to punch in here on our view. There we go. Appreciate the view from S Padre. We're shooting from 6 miles away, so we're punching in on this camera to see in there. But you can see Section 9 now there on your screen attached to the Franken crane. As I said, we're shooting 6 miles away, so that's what the little bit of haze you're seeing is from atmospheric distortion. And now we are just waiting to see what is going on with that here today. Why make 8 and 9 two pieces? I think it might be because of part of how they're going to attach maybe some of the crane aspects to it. Possibly just having some more time with that and things like that. I think that could maybe have some of it, but we're not too sure. That's a good question. Brant, I think you're spot on there. They don't seem to care too much about you might need to take this down. We are working on a big update for tomorrow about some news that we have heard from some people in SpaceX about what they are working on, and they are moving a lot of staff to Starbase here in the very, very near future and getting ready for that. So it's definitely going to start picking up and be rapid, but it does not seem like they are slowing down at all. It seems like they are just likely to speed it up and go from there. So we're going to have to wait and see. Jude, no, I don't think so. I believe they're going to have it in place and done before the review can finish. Absolutely. And I think that's a dangerous thing that they're doing. Not necessarily dangerous to like the environment or stuff, but dangerous to SpaceX. If they push too much like they did with SN8, the FAA could really snap back and cause issues for them. So yes, they need to be advancing forward and advancing and continuing for that, but they also need to make sure that they're following all the rules and procedures as well. That's Octopus. Hope he's working like he's got 8 arms. Yup. Two pieces made it easier to move and allowed the pulleys to be added closer to the ground. Yeah, I definitely think it's for how they were building the structure of the crane itself, and everything for that. Just seeing some people on Twitter thinking they might not do a lift tonight, but we're going to keep an eye on it. I think they might. We're going to wait until we hear maybe something a little more concrete that the lift will not be continuing today. But they're still hooked up to it. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. If you guys are down on the ground, let us know. Love to hear what you guys are hearing there as well. But at this point, the equipment still seems all attached and ready to go for it. The wind doesn't necessarily seem too bad. The reason ours is shaking is you are shooting over 6 miles, so even the tiniest little wind does make quite a bit of a difference for that. But let us know. Let's see. Daniel, yeah, moving around several hundred SpaceX employees. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But let us know, do you think SpaceX will launch Starship for orbital launch attempt without FAA license? This poll is going to drop in the chat here. Just a second. So let us know in the chat there. The poll should be popping up. What you guys think? I watched a video a few days ago where it shows the amount of companies and ideas that violate or didn't wait for approval and became really successful. It's definitely something that's common to happen. It's especially common when you have companies that can afford to pay the very, very, very large fines that they could receive for it. I was talking to some friends at work today about it, and what would that fine be that they would issue? It's not going to be $100 million fine. We're going to be talking hundreds of millions. And one of them even, threw out the idea, could it be possible that they hand out, you got enough money, here's $1 billion fine. Because the whole point of a fine is that, one, it covers some of the damages, but two, that it sets a precedent on, not trying to do this again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But let's see what your guys are saying in the poll. Take a minute, click on that poll, and give us an answer. Right now, one person thinks no, and one person thinks yes if the FAA delays more past September. That's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking if they delay it past September, I could see SpaceX pushing forward. But, or at least trying to. Maybe they stack it, they do some testing. Maybe they don't launch, but, they kind of push the FAA into doing it. So it does look like, from some people that are on the ground, that we are feeling like this lift is possibly going to happen early tomorrow morning, like we have seen with pretty much every other section, just based on the time there. Just coming up on almost 6 o'clock local time, and they normally kind of do a wrap up then, and they only do these lifts normally during the day crew, not the evening crew, because they obviously need to have the daylight for this type of lift. It's a very complex lift, so it will definitely seems like we'll be expecting this lift to occur tomorrow. So we're stay live for a few more minutes, answer some last minute questions if you guys have any, and probably conclude with it here today. And then we will be back tomorrow with some big news updates. Possibly we'll do a Kerbal stream in Discord, so if you haven't joined that, make sure to jump in on there. And we'll see what else comes of the day. But thanks everyone for jumping in here. I know we weren't too sure if this was going to happen. Everything was progressing like it was going to, but it looks like, just based on some of the activity that we're seeing and that the fact that they have not lifted it yet, they would definitely be running out of time at this point to be able to complete their lift, because not only do they have to complete the lift, it takes a couple of hours for them to really strap this down to a point where it's safe, and then they normally take a day or so before they actually unhook the crane, but they would definitely need some daylight time to really put in all the first bolts to make sure that that section is securely attached to the orbital launch tower. So we're probably going to conclude with it there. Thank you guys for joining us. Of course, here on the launch pad, we cover everything space with the goal to inspire and equip the next generation of explorers, and we are glad that you are here. And we will be back with more live coverage in the coming days. But for now, that is going to do it, and we will see you next time. Thanks for being here, everyone, and we will see you then. This is Zach signing off.